Good morning, everyone. We will be starting in just a couple of minutes. Please feel free to use the question and answers section to let us know where you are tuning in from today. Right, I see you all the way from the West Coast all the way to Ontario. Maybe we'll have some from the East Coast tuning in. Okay, we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Hello from Edmonton. Hi, Lisa. I'm in Calgary today, so not too far from you. Yes, it is a beautiful city. And it's been very warm. I think we've had plus 15 today or yesterday. So much better than the minus 50 temperatures that we have had. Okay, we'll get started in just 1 minute. I see everybody joining now, so that's great. You all are lucky today. You have Mr. Graham Sharples in the on the webinar. So
I don't know if lucky's the word. We'll find out at the end.
yeah, I think this is the most amount of Intuit people I've had on a webinar, so that's great. We've got Christian, Miguel, Shavana, Graham, and myself as well. So, okay, we'll get started in just a couple seconds. I will take over the screen. Okay. So today we're going to be doing a deep dive into Intuit's Sign for ProTax, a brand new feature coming from ProTax and from Intuit. I'm just getting over a cold, so I apologize if my voice is a little bit croaky for you this morning. My name is Jason Hasty. I'm a CPA CA. I got my CA designation way back in 2001. So I have been practicing CPA for over 20 years now. And I am co-hosting today's webinar with Mr. Graham Sharples. I'll let Graham, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So I'm Graham Sharples. I am not a CPA, but I have been working with accounting professionals for over 13 years now. So I've been with Intuit for quite a while. A little bit better shaven in that photo and maybe a year or two younger, but happy to be here and to answer any questions as we go through Intuit Sign with you. So with that, we can, I guess, move on to the next slide. So we've done the introductions. We're gonna, hopefully you've got all the information on the webinar. So there is an area where you can ask questions and answers. And Jason, we can talk about how you propose to do that. We're gonna do a demonstration of ProTax Intuit Sign. We're gonna go through setting up Intuit Sign. We're gonna talk about the client side of it. We're gonna talk about your side of it and how to use the dashboard. Then we are going to kick it into some live Q&A and then a wrap up. And so I'll pass it back to Jason. I am here to answer any questions again. But Jason, how would you like to handle the questions and answer?
Sure. So a couple things. I'll start off with the CPD credits. So today's webinar is you can earn 1 CPD credit for your participation today. You will get a copy of your certificate within 1 week. It should be emailed to you. And this says that a copy of the webinar will be emailed to you as well. That I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know that Intuit will have those copies available. And if you haven't tuned into the Intuit's YouTube channel, there are a lot of different webinars there. I will be showing the Pro Advisor portal where you can access your training and your benefits for that as well. And if you have questions today, as mentioned, we have a few Intuit people here today that will be able to answer your questions, as well as Graham. Very, very pleased and fortunate to have Graham on the webinar today. He is the product lead for ProTax. So he is one that is leading, the person that's leading the whole development of ProTax, which now includes Intuit Sign. And he will be here answering questions for us as well. If you have a question, please feel free to use the Q&A chat area of that. As mentioned, we have a couple people who will be assisting with those questions. They may be answering some of your questions live in typed format, and Graham and I will also do our best to answer your questions for you as well. Disclaimer for this morning, or I guess this afternoon's webinar, all content is educational, informational. Please do not take it as legal or tax advice for your matters. Okay, so very, very excited to be announcing Intuit Sign. It's been a product that's been in development for quite a while now. I'm sure Graham can speak to that a little bit later, but we are very happy to have that live now and active within ProTax. So what is Intuit Sign? Well, it is a brand new product. It is a brand new part of ProTax. And what it really allows you to do is it allows you to have electronically signed forms. So if you're sending clients forms that need to be electronically signed, we know, the pandemic, COVID really accelerated a lot of that with the CRA. And so having the ability to have clients electronically sign forms, really important in today's world. It works currently with ProTax T1 and T2, and Graham has mentioned that T3 is also coming for that as well. So, as this product evolves, there will be more and more opportunities to have more of your electronic forms signed by your clients. Best part of it is included at absolutely no additional cost. So if you are a T1, a ProTax T1, ProTax T2 user, there is absolutely no additional cost to using Intuit Sign. So a really big benefit there, and no additional cost to you or your firm. Okay, so what are the key features of Intuit Sign? The whole mandate and just the whole ecosphere with books to tax with Intuit and QuickBooks Online Accountant and ProTax is to create one ecosystem and make things as easy as possible for the users of the product. And Intuit Sign, just kind of takes that to the next step. We really want to have it simple and really easy to get your clients to sign documents, as well as ensure that the protection is in there with electronic signatures. In today's world of, hacking, phishing, misrepresentations on the internet, really having that protection to ensure that your client's identity is validated and that those signatures are valid signatures is really important. So Intuit Sign has put a lot of effort into ensuring both the simplicity and the protection in getting those signature requests for your clients. Staying compliant with CRA requirements. There are some products out there that allow you to sign electronically, but are not necessarily compliant with the CRA's requirements. So Intuit Sign has ensured that they are compliant with all of the CRA requirements for getting those documents signed. Along with it being free to use as a ProTax T1 or T2 user, you can also send unlimited requests. So if you are kind of familiar with ProTax T1 and T2 and how the subscription base works, you can file unlimited tax returns once you're subscribed to those. Again, Intuit Sign kind of takes that to the next step and allows you to send unlimited signing requests for your clients' documents, for your documents and your clients' documents. And again, of course, offering your clients an easy way to sign. I was looking for a message that I had just received from a client in December. I had sent her the T183 to sign with Intuit Sign. And she got back to me right away and said the process was so simple and so easy. So I love hearing that kind of stuff. You know, it is a work in progress. So if there are any, suggestions, things that you have to make the product easier to use, they've come a long way. And with it now being in past beta and a real product, it is really, really easy to use. But your suggestions are always encouraged. And I will show you how to give those suggestions in a little bit. Tracking your clients' requests in real time. This is a really great feature of Intuit Sign. There is a dashboard that you could see all of the requests that you've sent out for signatures with clients and what the status is. And we'll be talking about sending requests, how you do it, how reminders are sent, and a bunch of other things as well. Having reminders for clients who may not see it at first is a great thing to do, to have as an option. And being able to customize those reminders too is really important. And also to set expiration dates for requests. Basically, again, I talked about the ecosystem with Books to Tax and QBOA and ProTax. The goal of Intuit Sign, again, is to have all of your work in one spot. You request the client signatures and you can take action without leaving ProTax. So it is built right into the ProTax dashboard. And of course, all that you need to access ProTax is an internet connection and a web browser. It doesn't matter if you're on PC or Mac, you have the same ability to access ProTax. And it's all the data and the updates live in the cloud. So again, no updating of the product. And you don't have to worry about security because it is bank level security. So where do we access Intuit Sign? When you were in QBOA, so that's QuickBooks Online Accountant, on the left-hand side, you will see that you are actually in the accountant area when it says accountant. So you want to ensure that you are in the accountant area, that you're not in a client's QBO or QuickBooks Online file. Once you are in the accountant area, ProTax is one of the tabs on the left-hand side. You click on that. And then in addition to having the different modules displayed for ProTax, ProTax has T1, so personal tax returns, T2, corporate tax returns, T3, trust returns, as well as the forms experts, so things like T4s, T5s. Those are all part of ProTax now. And then living just to the right of that is now Intuit Sign. You will see and be able to access the dashboard by clicking on the e-signature part of the dashboard. That gives you the dashboard of all of the documents that you've sent out to clients to sign. And I'll be taking you through how to actually access a form and request a signature on a specific form. If for some reason you do not see that e-signature panel, in ProTax, there is this tax settings wheel. I'm just going to go back for a second. If you take a look on the top right, you will see tax settings. That is where all of your settings for ProTax live. And once you click on that, when I do the ProTax webinars, I actually have a webinar coming up tomorrow, and I will talk about how you can access and sign up for that webinar. When I talk about the different options in ProTax in my webinars, these are the options that are available to you, such as e-filing, entering your preparer info, other things like printing, doing letters. There's the options tab. The Intuit sign area lives in the ProTax Labs part of ProTax. Now, what ProTax Labs is, it's kind of the newest features that may not be in full release, they might be in beta, but it gives you the option to have these features available to you. So at the top there is Intuit Sign. It is now toggled on by default for all users. If for some reason you do not see that e-signature panel, you can go into the tax settings area, click on ProTax Labs, and toggle it on. Other things like form colors. So when you are preparing T1s, personal tax returns, in this upcoming tax season, you can have things like the form colors. So if you are used to working with spousal type returns, things like that give really handy features. So that's where all of this lives, in the ProTax Labs. Now I'm going to jump into sending a request to a client for e-signature. And we'll be doing a live demo of this after, so you will be able to see exactly how we access it, where we go to the form, and how we request that signature. For now, I want to kind of give you just a brief look at what the different steps are and how it looks in Intuit Sign. So at the top there, we see we're requesting an e-signature. It has the name of the person we're requesting the e-signature from. And then just below that, you will see 4 different areas. There's the documents. So that shows the documents that are being requested. Who are the recipients of that document request? Setting up your reminders, and then finally reviewing what it looks like before you send it. So a really easy layout for you to create those documents for your clients. I should touch on, the documents area. Below there, you will see, for example, here we are doing a T183 form. So that is a request to e-file a tax return. And you have a couple of actions that you can do as part of that. In the future, they will have the ability to have multiple forms on there, and you can reorder and delete those forms as you see them appearing here. Right now, we just see the one T183 form as this example. And I'll show you also a list of all the forms available for electronic signatures today as well. So after looking at the documents, second panel takes you to the recipients. So who are you sending this request for e-signature to? So obviously you need their first name, last name, address, including the city, province, their postal code, really important, their mobile number, really important as well. And Graham and I will touch on that, as well as their email address, so that they can get a notification that they have a document that is requesting a signature for. At the bottom there, you can see the email message. Also coming will be certain templates to assist you there. For now, you can, it's very easy, works exactly like sending an email or, a word processor. This is your subject line and your email message to your client. If you take a quick look there, you can see it says action needed by, and in brackets, we have client name. So what it's doing there is it's pulling from the client name field. So when your client receives that request, it'll automatically populate with their name. So your choice to use it, your choice to not use it. If you want to address your client differently, you want to change the subject line, you have complete freedom to do so. Same thing in the email message. So I always try, when we send things out with our company, try to make the subject line as explanatory as possible and as quick as possible. As we know, a lot of entrepreneurs and people are busy these days. So we want to make it as easy for them to understand what email they are receiving. And they will note that it's an email that is received by Intuit. which is a trusted source. There's a lot of things that go into sending the email in the back end to ensure that your clients do receive these emails as well. Payal is asking, why is the phone number required? And Graham will go into more depth on that, explaining why. But part of that is because of the verification. We want to ensure that the person who is signing the form is the actual intended recipient of that form. And so there is verification that is used through their phone number. So we'll explain that in a bit. Thanks for that question. Okay, so this third part of it is the reminder screen. And a few things with reminders. Sending clients reminders, really important. Follow-ups. We can have good intentions to do that ourselves. That often gets missed. So it's a really good idea to have auto reminders set for your clients. Then if they haven't signed the documents or completed the signature, then they will receive these reminders. So as we can see at the top there, we can send a reminder to the signer in X number of days. So, and we can change that as we see fit. Maybe I'm a little bit OCD, but I like to send daily reminders on signatures, especially if we have due dates for documents and filings to be done. Then after the first reminder, we can send a reminder every X days. So if you want to send a reminder, in this example, you're waiting a few days to give them a chance to sign it. Then every 2 days after that, another reminder will go out. And also note that you have the ability to check or uncheck any of these boxes. Third one is the number of days before the request expires. So really important to also have expiration dates for these signatures. You don't want a client looking at it, 6 months from now and then signing after everything has been done. So it's a really good idea to set an expiration date for that. And then along with that is you can set a number of days before the expiration to warn the signer. So it's kind of that little push that you can give the signer to say, hey, this chance to sign this document is expiring in X number of days. You better get it signed. So good to have that little push for clients as well. And then the final tab is the review and send function, or kind of overview, I guess you'd say. So we have a summary here. On the left-hand side, we see what are the documents that are going to be sent to your client for signing. Then who are the recipients? Again, there's a little note here, confirm these details are correct for your client. So you really want to make sure that you've got the correct details for your client, and especially for the email address. So this is your last chance to review that. I will be showing you today where you enter those details for clients and where it pulls from as well. And then, of course, the reminders. So, however you have it set up for your client, when those reminders are going to go out. You can also click there, if you can see kind of in the middle there on the right, the preview e-signature email. So that gives you an opportunity to preview what your client is going to see when they receive that email. On the right-hand side here, you will see that it shows that it's coming from Intuit and that it's a review and e-sign button that they just need to click. So making it really, really easy for the client to do so. Okay, so there are a couple of documents that Intuit has prepared for both the tax preparers and tax clients. In the music industry, we call these one sheets, and I find them very valuable, very easy to, print out or, have available to you. I think I think they are being included as part of today's webinar. I'm not sure if they're going to be put into the webinar chat. Shavana could maybe answer that. Or you may have already received them via email. But these are really handy forms. They're one sheets. So basically, this first one talks about tax preparers and all the things that you need to do when using Intuit Sign and requesting those e-signatures from your clients. So a lot of information on this one sheet, a really handy thing to have. And if you don't receive it or don't get it, please let us know, and that can be sent to you as well. I think Graham can probably chat about that in a little bit. So the first one is the tax preparers one, and then there's also one for your tax clients. So if you are going to be sending requests for e-signatures to your tax clients, especially in this busy tax season, this is a great one sheet for them to take a look at to know how to complete it. It is really a simple process, but it's nice for them if they're feeling, maybe they're not the most technologically proficient. This kind of lays it out really easily for them. Okay, and I just want to mention about getting help in ProTax. I included this screen because I think it's really important. I have also used it many times myself when our firm files tax returns and we need assistance in certain areas. ProTax has a built-in specific or special help area. So if you can see by the top there with that green arrow, that help button is what normally takes us to the help portion of QBOA, QuickBooks Online Accountant. If we want to access help directly with ProTax, when we are in a client's tax return, we can click on that blue bubble that appears at the bottom right-hand side, and that gives us various options to access that help. Chatting with support agents, calling. So, if phone is easiest for you and you like dealing with help or support over the phone, it makes it really easy. QBOA has built in now different options, things like screen share, that make it really, really easy to get the specific help that you need. So a lot of resources have been dedicated towards getting proper help, and especially with newer products like Intuit Sign. I mean, if you haven't worked with ProTax before, it's really important to be able to access that help easily. Okay, so next I'll be doing a live demo. We'll be going through things like setting up Intuit Sign, getting it set up for ProTax, and how you go about sending a document to a client for e-signature. The client side of Intuit Sign. So we've kind of already looked at, what the client's email is going to look like. How does the client sign the document and things like that. So if you have questions on that part of things, we're happy to answer that for you as well. And also taking you through the user dashboard. Specifically, we'll be going through a T183 and taking a look at that. We don't have any completed examples today, but it's very easy to see that in the dashboard once you have clients signed. And if you are familiar with any kind of digital signatures, it will be a very familiar thing to you as well with Intuit Sign. So I am going to just jump out here and give me one moment while I head into the live demo portion and close off the webinar or the PowerPoint. Okay. All right. So you should be able to see my screen that shows QBOA, QuickBooks Online Accountant. Graham, maybe give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Perfect. Awesome. Here we have a sample file. This is kind of Intuit's sample file that they use a lot in QuickBooks Online Accountant.
Sorry,
At the
Jason.
top, yes.
I am not seeing it. Apologies.
Oh, which part are you not seeing?
I am not seeing the screen share. Maybe it's me, but
Oh,
Yeah, Jason, you have to reshare your screen and turn on your video camera. There you go.
okay. Oh, there. Do we see it now?
thumbs up.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. And also thank you, Melanie, as well, for noting that you just saw my face and that's it. Okay, so this is the QuickBooks Online Accountant. You could tell you're in QBOA. And just note as well, QBOA, QuickBooks Online Accountant, is also free to you if you are a bookkeeper or an accountant. Absolutely free. It is a client portal, client database. It includes all of the books to tax functions. This allows you to access clients, QBO, QuickBooks Online files as well. So absolutely free to you. And it is the area that includes ProTax as well. One thing that I do want to mention just before I jump in quickly to this, the Pro Advisor portal, if you haven't taken a look at the Pro Advisor portal, it's really a great thing to go through. There's all the benefits that to being a Pro Advisor, again, absolutely free. The training area is a great area to note as well for any kind of training with any Intuit product or cloud-based product. I'm going to scroll down here to the ProTax webinars. So any webinars that relate specifically to ProTax will show here as well. So as we can see, tomorrow, I'm actually leading a ProTax training tour for T1 experienced users. That's a 2-hour webinar tomorrow, which you can also get CPD credits for, and it's also free. Then in March, I believe this is me leading the T1 and T2, so both personal and corporate tax returns for ProTax as well. So just wanted to kind of show you that there are a lot of resources available to you within this Pro Advisor portal, and that is accessible through the training part of it. Okay, so next we're going to hop it directly into ProTax. I just clicked on the T1 Personal. This is the ProTax dashboard for T1s. So what we see here is a list of all T1s that have been prepared, have been filed, are currently working on, things like that. We have the T2, T3, and 4 and FX forms export, as well as the e-signature. So when we click on e-signature, this is the dashboard specific to e-signatures. Once we have sent e-signatures to clients, we will see it updated here along with the status, dates, the email address, things like that. So that is our dashboard for all of these e-signature requests with clients. I talked about the tax settings area, so I'll take you to that just quickly. ProTax Labs, again, here is the Intuit sign. So if you do not see that e-signature, that is where you access that in the tax settings area. And I also want to bring you to the What's New area. Once you click on that, you will see all of the tax release notes for ProTax going all the way back to, I think it's 2019 or whatever. So all the different updates to ProTax and its release. At the top, you can click on the little search area. And if you type in Intuit sign in that will bring you, we should see at this top here, yep, Intuit sign for ProTax. These are the different forms that you can currently access for electronic signatures for ProTax within ProTax. So it's not just the T183. We will be going through the T183 today, but it is all of these different forms that you can access through Intuit sign. I always tell everyone when I'm at my webinars the different other areas that you can access through this area, through this website, a lot of different useful resources to you as well. And that's all through the What's New when you go into the ProTax main area. Okay, so let's jump into T1. I've created a T1 that we're going to be looking for Mary Ann to sign. One thing, if you notice, there's a lot here. If we want to take that down and we only want to search by Mary because I just know that that's the return that I'm looking for. Very easy to search things through all of the returns that have been prepared. So here we're in a 2022 tax return. and we want Mary Ann to sign this tax return, or we want her to sign the T183 form. Couple of different areas that we want to look into. There's a T1 Express. I go through this in depth on the T1 ProTax webinars. I'm leading that advanced session tomorrow. You can also go online and find a recorded one of the introduction to ProTax T1, where I explain the T1 Express. This is basically a form that for any basic T1 personal tax return that you're creating has most of the info that you need for that T1. As part of that is the client's or the taxpayer's area for their name, their address, their email address. And these are the things, this is the area that it pulls in for the e-signature. In the T1 Express, it has all of the different fields for all of them, including the email address. The only other one that you want to enter is the info area, and that also allows you to put in the phone number. So I will tell you why that's important in a second as we jump to the requesting for an e-signature. So today we're going to be doing the T183 form. Here's the data input part of it. We also have the PDF form, so you can see exactly what the T183 will look like. If we go back to the data input and we click on a button that is now not grayed out so that we can see that this requesting of an e-signature is available to this form. So once we click on that request e-signature, that is where we will see the dialog box pop up for requesting this client's e-signature. And that's what I went through with the screenshots. The documents, recipients, reminders, and review and send. So here we see the form. We're looking at the T183 for the 2022 tax year. We're going to click on next. Here we see our taxpayer, Mary Ann Signer, her address, her postal code, her phone number, and her email address. So note that all of these have an asterisk beside them, indicating that these are required fields. Here as well, you can also see the subject line that has been pre-populated for you. You can adjust your subject line to whatever you want, as well as your email message. Clicking on next brings you to the reminders area. So as I said, I'm a little bit OCD. I want to send her a reminder one day, then I want to send a reminder every day after that. Now we're kind of running into deadlines, so I'm only going to give her 7 days to sign. And then I'm also going to have that warning sent out to her a day before this e-signature expires. Click on the next button, and then we are brought to the summary screen. So again, on the left-hand side, we see the documents, we see who it's being sent to. It's being sent to Mary Ann, and then the reminders part of it. And then once we click send, it will automatically appear up in our area entitled e-signature at the top of ProTax, the dashboard. So that's where it will appear once we send that request for signing. It's a little bit different. I'm just going to go super quick through the T2, a little bit different. And the area, the reason that it's different is because we have different signing authorities or signing officers for corporate tax returns. Once we are in the T2, the corporate tax return, we will click on the signing officer here, put the indication or the details in that we need to send these electronic forms. Then if we are, for example, going to T183 here, then we can, oh, I must have created separate ones for that oh, sorry, it jumped over to the RAC summary. There we are, request signature. One thing I want to do here, let me just jump back to show you, if we don't have these fields filled out, let's see if this will pre-populate. go back to the T183. And when I go to requesting that signature, I'm just going to show you what appears in the client area. So because I didn't have any info in there, it's going to come up with these empty fields. If it does, you can change that name to whatever you want to. Or what do you want to, what the client that it's going to. If there is some incorrect info in there as well, you can also change that. So say if you look that the postal code is incorrect, you can change it directly in that field as well. All right, so I think that is all that I have for you to show as part of the live demo. Let's open it up. Graham, do you want to talk about verifying the person who is doing the electronic signature, how that verification happens, and the steps that Intuit has taken to ensure that that person is who we need that person to be for signing these electronic documents?
Absolutely. I'll try to do my best here, but one of the key jobs that we have is ensuring that your client's data is secure. And so we go through a rigorous process of trying to find not only the most secure way of ensuring that your client's data is safe, but also the easiest on your client end. Unfortunately, there's no simple way to authorize an individual's they are who they say they are. So there's multiple methods. So we could have gone down a LexisNexis route where we asked your client a bunch of questions that they may or may not have the answer to, or there's another process whereby your clients can actually upload their driver license. In our case, what we tried to do first was to try to make it as simple as possible with like 2 or 3 clicks to enable your customer to get to that document that you want signed as easily as possible. And so the reason why the phone number is important, the address is important, the postal code is important, is because on the back end, what we're doing is we're validating that information with what your client's mobile carrier information is. So long as their name and address match what is on their billing for the mobile carrier, whether it's TELUS, Bell, whatnot, you will have a seamless match. When your customer goes in and they receive that email and they click that sign the document, what will end up happening for them is they will receive an email with a code, and that code, sorry, it actually goes to their phone, I believe, but that code they just enter in, and boom, they're in. They can sign the document, and it's gone. And the accountant and the accounting professionals is alerted. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to match what is the information you're providing in the request and what the mobile carrier has. Now, we know that's not going to work for everybody. And so, but we wanted to get this feature out to you as soon as possible. We know that all the other authorization methods, you never get 100% success rate. But what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get as close to 90, 95, 98% success rate for your clients. We've got a little bit of a ways to go. We're looking at other alternative paths. So if the mobile carrier route doesn't go, that there may be an alternative path. So we're working with our security teams to try to bring that to market as soon as possible. But we knew with season coming up, we wanted to get this out to you as quickly as possible. Jason, you had some questions yesterday about that. Or did I answer all the questions that we chatted about yesterday, or am I missing something there?
I think so. You talked about the main mobile carriers.
Right. Okay. Now, unfortunately, the solution that we're using today does not work with all carriers. So you will see some fail rates. So for everyone in Saskatchewan, and apologies, I am born and bred on the prairies as well. So for everyone in Saskatchewan, I apologize, but your province is an anomaly. SaskTel has a monopoly, and unfortunately, the solution we have right now doesn't support SaskTel. We are working with our security team. We are working with these mobile carriers, but we really are trying to bring them on. So you will see fail rates with some of your Saskatchewan customers if they are on SaskTel.
And that's only on SaskTel, right?
Videotron in Quebec, but this is, we're primarily an English product here. So there are some smaller things, but the Virgins of the world, Fido, all those subsidiaries of these larger firms of like Bellis, new company, Bell, Telus, Rogers, they work. Okay.
And yeah, so anybody living in Saskatchewan, if they're on Rogers or Bell or Telus or
They work.
Bellis, it
Yeah.
might be a corporation of the future.
Yes. Trademark now.
They still can access it. It's only SaskTel customers.
That's correct. That's
Yeah.
correct. And we are working to try to bring them on. The other area where you may experience issues is, in my case, my phone is with Intuit. And so if you have a business account, your phone is on the business account, it may or may not work. Now, one of the tricks that you can do is, as Jason sort of showed, we pull the information from the tax return and put it into the request to try to make the data entry as simple as possible. That said, you can change where you're sending that request to. And so those two PDFs that we send, that you have access to and that your clients can have access to, it sort of lays out, ask your client what their mobile carrier is. What's the information on that stub, the receipt? That's the information you really need to make this work. To Jason's point, if you have that information, it is literally the simplest solution out there to get that e-signature.
Yeah.
Again, we're working and we're adding more features and functions. There are more forms coming, so the 1032 is coming soon. The T3, Jason has said it's coming. It is coming soon. Legally I can't give you the actual date, but if I could overemphasize soon, I would overemphasize soon. Back to you, Jason.
Oh, sure. Yeah. What was I going to say on that? It's leaving me right now, but I do have a couple more questions that I see. So for what years of tax returns does Intuit Sign work for?
So I know it works for 2023. I know it works for 2022. I do not believe it works for 2021 or 2019. I have to check on 2021, but I do know it works for 2022 and 2023. The process here was we wanted to help you deal with this, the in-season customers that you need signatures for. When we typically roll out features like this, we typically try to go back a year and then build out as we move forward. So as the tax years carry on and the product expands in capabilities, we will be solving for more years. The 2019, 2021 is TBD as to whether we're going to keep going back. Obviously, it's a lot more work to support back year work than it is to onboard to New Year's. So.
Okay. And somebody has asked about the Quebec TP 1000 form, if the ability to get electronic signatures for that is coming. Do you have any info on that specifically?
Why don't we put that as a request? And at the end of any stage show I do or any webinar, my name is Graham Sharples, Graham Sharples, Sharples. You want my email address? It's Graham_Sharples@intuit.com. The way we improve this product is by listening to you folks. We want to build this product with you. If you want to help us build it, please reach out to me. No different than ProTax. We're constantly engaging with our customers. Jason has a hotline to my mobile. He and I talk regularly. He raises issues with me. I take them to PD. We try to prioritize, get them dealt with. He can testify to that. But please reach out to me. So I'll take that one away, the TP 1000. And again, you got my email address. So if you want to be non-anonymous and reach out directly to me, and please go ahead.
Yeah, and just to kind of, add to that, really, Graham talked about product development PD, and Intuit is very, very supportive of getting feedback and improving the product. Now I used to be just a user. Now, I know a lot of the Intuit people, but really it's so true in ProTax, you can send your feedback in. that feedback is truly looked at by their product developers and by their team. So any feedback you have, I really enjoy the transparency that Intuit has in, they will let you know what they're working on and what's coming up, and really make, a solid effort to improve the product as much as possible. I think that's something that really has kind of come to us in the cloud days. I remember working with desktop products, and you would try and call their support lines, and then you'd have to pay $100 per request, things like that. Those days are gone. And getting support in ProTax and the different functionality, giving your feedback so that things can be improved and added, is really, really important. So please always, feel free to ask for support and give your feedback.
Sure. My email address again is Graham, Graham _Sharples, SHARPLES @intuit.com. Yeah, I guess I could have just written it there. Thank
That's
you.
okay. No worries.
4 steps ahead of me. And
That's
again, just to reiterate, just to double down on what Jason is saying, Jason brought up an issue 2 days ago. As soon as I saw it, responded to Jason, spoke to the product team, had a Jira ticket created. The PD team is looking at it now, and we're going to have it out. We're going to have the fixes in the next release.
Yeah. I think that's it. As far as questions, I don't see any questions coming through. Anybody have any last thoughts or questions? If not, thank you so much. I think there's going to be a recording of this available. Yeah.
I do have one last thought.
Yes.
This is not the end of Intuit Sign. What you see in product is not where we're going to end. We are continuing development of this. The great news about this is the work that we have done here, Intuit has sort of recognized, and they're like, holy smokes, there's something here that our solutions in the US can use. And so we're going to be adding functionality. I saw an earlier question as to whether you could bring in a profile PDF. We know things like client letters, engagement letters, you're going to want to have those signed by your customers as well. So being able to drag and drop a signature onto any PDF and a time and date stamp onto any PDF is something we're already looking at and trying to figure out how we can bring that in to the product. So that there in the request area, some of the customers that are already using on the profile side have said, hey, it would be great to have some templates in here. So that if you're dealing with, your T1 template for your request would be different from your T2 templates. That's customer feedback that came to us that is literally going on to our list of asks of the e-signature team to have them bring it to market for us. So again, just to double down, it's not the end. The only way we help you build your company is by helping us build the products that serve you. And we couldn't do it without you. So number one, thank you for spending the time with us today. I really, really appreciate it. And please, again, don't hesitate to reach out.
And thanks, Graham, for being a part of this. I mean, to have the product lead on a webinar, the person who's actually leading the development of all this, I think is really important. And so to those of you who signed up for today's webinar, consider that a big bonus. I think it's great to have. And I can't believe you gave out your email address. So
I do it every single time.
That's
full
awesome.
Transparency, full transparency.
Yeah, I love that. So thank you so much, everyone, for attending today. I will be leading a webinar, ProTax Advanced T1 tomorrow. So if you are interested in that, please feel free to sign up through the Pro Advisor area of your QBOA.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks. Have a good day, everyone.
Take care. Have a great week.